Police officers approach two young girls, unaware that their parent is capturing the scene in the heart of Virginia, a place where community bonds are mixed with skepticism towards law enforcement. Stay tuned to discover what happens next. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories. Officer Connor Brian Fleming, affectionately known as CB, symbolizes hope and unwavering dedication. With a career spanning over 20 years, CB's dedication to his profession is matched by his commitment to his family. As the husband of a French teacher and the father of two wonderful daughters aged 10 and 8, his family life is filled with warmth and joy, contrasting sharply with the hurdles he encounters on Virginia's streets. The area CB patrols is a complex blend of poverty and crime, creating little room for trust in the police. Children glance with concern at the sight of any police car, while adults view the badge not as a protector, but as a symbol of fear and subjugation. This tangible divide builds an unseen barrier, making CB's work about more than just law enforcement. It's about dismantling years-old walls. Nevertheless, CB remains unfazed. His policing philosophy is unique, grounded in the notion that empathy and compassion are the strongest tools against the cycle of skepticism and contempt. Where others perceive antagonism, he discerns a plea for assistance, a community longing for someone to peer beneath the exterior and recognize the anguish, hardship, and dire need for transformation. CB's method is mild, markedly different from the stern approach typically seen in law enforcement. He prefers listening over talking, offers a grin instead of a grimace, and reaches out to connect in situations where others might choose restraint. For CB, the essence of policing lies not in law enforcement, but in embodying the values of justice, equity, and kindness in every interaction. He envisions a community where kids look beyond the uniform to find a companion, a guide, and a guardian. Deep down, CB upholds a simple but profound conviction. Change starts with a singular act of kindness, a moment of insight, and the bravery to act as a bridge across the gulf of doubt and apprehension. In Virginia streets, amid the sound of sirens and the shadows of skepticism, CB pursues a journey of optimism, focused on mending the long-standing divides that separate the badge from those it aims to protect. On a clear morning in Virginia, the atmosphere at Mecklenburg Manor was laden with anticipation, not because of the reported gas leak that had drawn Officer Connor Brian Fleming and his crew, but due to the palpable unease setting a divide between the inhabitants and the police. As the emergency teams got ready to proceed, the neighborhood's cautious gazes followed each step, a mute witness to the deep-rooted misunderstanding and apprehension separating them. Nearby, children engaged in play in the front yard of an apartment, their joy momentarily cutting through the community's tension. But as CB and his team members got closer, the air of happiness was quickly replaced by silence, their lively actions stopping in an instant of automatic fright. It was a scene all too familiar to CB, a vivid reminder of the obstacles he was determined to overcome. At that moment, CB made a decision that would signal the start of something incredible. He gestured for his colleagues to move ahead without him, his gaze lingering on the children, who looked back at him with a blend of curiosity and wariness. With a warm smile, he took off his hat and hid his firearm out of view, a quiet emblem of tranquility. While walking towards the children, CB adopted a strategy that no manual had ever suggested, but that his instinct deeply understood: the universal language of fun. Laying down on the earth, he began to inch towards them. An officer turned into a playmate in their imaginative world. The view of an adult, clad in the symbols of authority, willingly making himself open and absurd to forge a bond, was a compelling one. The kids' initial reluctance dissolved, replaced by interest and then joy as they embraced CB's tacit proposition of amity. Two CB's actions that day went beyond the regular responsibilities of a law enforcement officer. By choosing to interact with the children and to connect with them at their level, in both a literal and metaphorical sense, he started to craft a new story for the community of Mecklenburg Manor. He was an officer who looked past the badge and uniform, who realized that the road to trust and comprehension was built on minor acts of goodwill, shared grins, and instances of real connection. Officer Connor Brian Fleming, known as CB, embodied a unique approach to policing that sparked hope for a future where children could see law enforcement not as entities to fear, but as supporters and guardians. This was evident in the scene unfolding outside the home of Mrs. Roper Boswell, where her daughter and niece were being watched over by a police officer in the front yard of the aging Mecklenburg Manor. CB's readiness to diverge from standard practices and connect with the community, in contrast to the typical stern approach, created a beacon of optimism that the divide between law enforcement and the public could be mended. However, this was no typical oversight. Officer Connor Brian Fleming, known as CB, was on the ground, mingling with the children in a manner of real friendship that seemed almost out of place against the backdrop of the community's regular strains with law enforcement. Touched by the honesty and genuineness of the interaction, Mrs. Boswell reached for her mobile device, driven by a mix of parental pride and the feeling of witnessing something truly noteworthy. As she filmed, her heart filled with a range of emotions: optimism for the connections being made in these simple encounters, thankfulness for the official who dared to be distinct, and a refreshed sense of serenity, knowing her children were receiving warmth from someone they had been taught to view with skepticism. Opting to post the video online was fueled by a wish to immortalize this uncommon bond, to capture a moment when disparities vanished, leaving only the shared happiness of interaction. What Mrs. Boswell hadn't foreseen was the extensive impact it would generate. Once shared, the video became its own entity, spreading with the speed and scope unique to the internet. Comments flooded in, a wave of uplifting feedback highlighting the best of human capability for empathy and appreciation. The reception from the public was extraordinary, not merely in the volume of views and shares, but in the profoundness of its effect. Individuals from various places were moved by the clip, a touching reminder of the power of simple actions to inspire change. One day, it was a bustling morning at the local radio station when Officer Connor Brian Fleming, affectionately known as CB, took the mic. The airwaves crackled with anticipation as the host welcomed him, eager to hear his perspective on the now viral video that had captured the hearts of people across the country. CB, thank you for joining us today. I think I speak for everyone when I say we've been inspired by the way you interacted with those young girls in Mecklenburg Manor. Can you tell us a bit about that encounter and what was going through your mind? CB smiled, his warm demeanor instantly putting the listeners at ease. You know, that day was just like any other for me. I was responding to a call, but when I saw those kids playing, I couldn't help but stop and join in. They looked like they could use a friendly face. And that's really what it's all about for me, connecting with the community, being a positive presence in their lives. The host nodded. And the video has had an incredible impact. People have been calling in all morning, sharing their thoughts and appreciation for your approach. Let's hear from a few of them. The first caller, a woman named Sarah, spoke up with a grateful tone. Officer CB, I just want to say thank you. I grew up in a neighborhood a lot like Mecklenburg Manor, and let me tell you, seeing a cop interact with kids like that, with genuine care and kindness, it means the world. You're the kind of officer we need more of. Another caller, a young man named Jamal, chimed in. CB, man, you're a real inspiration. I've had my fair share of run-ins with the law, but seeing you out there being a friend instead of just enforcing rules, it really changes the way I look at things. I wish more officers had your kind of demeanor and approach. CB listened intently, his eyes shining with emotion. I appreciate those kind words more than you know. At the end of the day, we're all part of the same community, citizens and officers alike. We're brothers and sisters, and we need to start seeing each other that way. It's not about us versus them. It's about working together to make our neighborhoods safer and stronger. The host jumped in. And that's exactly the kind of attitude that's resonating with people. You've become known for your great demeanor and your ability to connect with the community. What's your secret? CB chuckled. There's no secret, really. I just try to approach every situation with empathy and an open mind. I know the uniform can be intimidating, but I always want the people I interact with to see me as a person first, an officer second. If I can break down those barriers and find common ground, that's when the real magic happens. The phone lines continued to light up, with callers sharing their own stories of how CB's actions had inspired them. One woman, fighting back tears, recounted how her son had always been wary of the police until he saw the video of CB playing with the girls. Now, he wants to be just like you when he grows up. You've given him hope, and for that, I'll be forever grateful. As the interview drew to a close, CB leaned in, his voice filled with conviction. Look, I know there's a lot of work to be done when it comes to rebuilding trust between law enforcement and the communities we serve. But I truly believe that if we approach each interaction with compassion and a genuine desire to understand one another, we can start to heal those divides. It's not going to happen overnight, but if we keep putting in the effort, one small act of kindness at a time, we can create a future where everyone feels safe, respected, and valued. That's the kind of world I want to be a part of, and I know I'm not alone in that dream. The host smiled. Well said, CB. Thank you for being an inspiration to us all. I have a feeling we'll be hearing a lot more from you in the days to come. As the interview concluded, the airwaves buzzed with a renewed sense of hope and optimism. Officer CB had not only captured the hearts of a community, but had ignited a movement, a call for compassion, understanding, and the power of simple acts to bridge the divide between law enforcement and the citizens they serve. This video's widespread popularity was more than just about the numbers. It symbolized hope, demonstrating the importance of looking past external differences to the personal bonds that can emerge in the most unexpected settings. As Mrs. Boswell looked back, her initial goal of capturing a sweet interaction had evolved into something much bigger. She unknowingly started a wider dialogue about community, empathy, and the potential for mutual understanding, narrowing the divides that frequently separate us. The circulation of the video featuring Officer Connor Brian Fleming, or CB as he's affectionately called, engaging with kids in Mecklenburg Manor, initiated a significant shift within the community. An area once tense at the sight of a police car began to relax a bit more. This video, simple yet profound, stood as a beacon of hope, questioning long-standing viewpoints and fears linked to law enforcement. It was as though the community was seeing its reflection for the first time, recognizing a possibility for coexistence that had seemed unreachable. CB, observing the flood of support and changing attitudes, felt moved and reflective. For him, the interaction wasn't about changing views for recognition, but about a deeper, more personal aim. He hoped for a future where his daughters and all children could perceive officers as protectors, as allies, and crucially, as friends. I aim to be more than just the person wearing the badge, CB contemplated, filled with aspiration. I want to be an integral part of the community, someone they can rely on, not just in distress, but as a genuine friend. His hopes resonated well. Among the youngsters of Mecklenburg Manor, CB's name became equated with security and warmth. They affectionately named him Batman, a light-hearted yet profound recognition of his guardian role. It was a moniker CB accepted with honor, a representation of the trust and fondness that had grown from a single friendly gesture. For the kids, Officer Connor Brian Fleming, CB, wasn't just a character from stories. He was a tangible presence, always there to engage, share a smile, and join in on fun. As word of CB's deeds spread far and wide, it became a glowing testament to the impact that kindness and connection can have in overcoming barriers of skepticism and fear. It highlighted to everyone that beyond the roles we play and the labels we carry, there lies the chance to foster moments of true connection, letting our shared humanity emerge. With actions rooted in tenderness and a sincere wish to engage, CB showed everyone a way forward, inspiring communities across the globe. In the heart of Virginia, a straightforward video achieved more than viral fame. It ignited a drive for mutual respect and empathy. The legacy left by CB through his compassionate actions stands as a guiding light for all, proving that significant transformations often start with the simplest acts of benevolence. Through what he did, CB not only reshaped the story of a town, but also echoed across the globe the timeless influence of empathy and the incredible effect of forging personal bonds.